might be inclined to join in the fun if the opportunity presented itself. And as I deflected a straight-in punch, the pleasant-looking loner slipped out of his chair, moved silently up behind Oberon, and did a quick double kick into the backs of his knees that sent him crashing to the floor. Oberon bellowed, twisting around onto his back, and grabbed for his holstered golden. His hand stopped short of its goal, the fingers just touching the weapon's grip. The glare he'd started to direct at his attacker now transferred to the black Libra 3mm pointed steadily down at him.
"I wouldn't,"
the gun's owner said mildly. In his free hand held high for everyone in the Taverno to see was a bounty hunter ID.
"Sebastian Trent, licensed bounty hunter?"
he called, just in case anyone was still unclear on the whole thing.
"This man is officially in my custody."
He slipped the ID back into his pocket, his gun never wavering from Oberon's face.
"Hands on your head, please,"
he said, lowering his volume to a more conversational level.
"Then over onto your stomach."
For a long moment, I thought Oberon might decide he'd rather have his face splattered across the floor than suffer the humiliation of getting caught. A lot of the criminal types I'd run into over the years seemed to have ego where they needed brains. But he took another look into his attacker's eyes, and with reluctance and impotent fury, he complied. Trent glanced at me, as if wondering if he should offer to let me do the honors, then crouched down, pulled Oberon's arms one by one from his head down to the small of his back, and used a set of quick cuffs to secure his wrists. Only then did he holster his Libra and give me a satisfied nod.
"Nicely done, Roarke,"
he said, his voice as pleasant as his face.
"Thanks for the assist. I think the spiral will rest easier with this one off the streets."
"Actually, I doubt most of the spiral even knows he exists," I said. "But you're welcome. So what now?"
"Now my colleagues take him to the badgeman.
He interrupted himself as two large men strode through the door.
"Package for delivery, gentlemen,"
he called, beckoning them over.
"Tell the station chief I'll be there shortly to collect the arrest documentation."
He smiled at me.
"My new colleague and I first have another matter or two to discuss."
I cocked an eyebrow at that. I did indeed have another few questions to ask him, and in fact had been wondering how I was going to talk him into having a celebratory drink with me. Apparently, he had an agenda of his own, which could either be very helpful or very ominous. He and I stood together and watched as the two men got Oberon back on his feet and hauled him out into the night. Then Trent gestured to the server at the bar.
"A puff-adder for me, my good woman, and,
"Small doers," I supplied.
"Large doers for my friend,"
Trent corrected. He sent me a small and slightly lopsided grin.
"I'm the generous type, and I'm buying. Come on, let's sit."
"There's a nicely private spot over there," I said, pointing to an isolated table near the side wall.
"You expect a need for privacy for our little chat?"
he asked. "Don't you?" He smiled in a friendly sort of way that I suspected most people would foolishly take at face value, but I could see the subtle contradiction between lips and eyes. Trent was definitely not a man to take lightly.
"Touché,"
he said.
"Lead on, Macduff."
Whoever Macduff was. I led the way across to the table. The rest of the patrons, I noted, had gone back to their drinks and conversation. Apparently like a stray barroom fight or two, a bounty hunter